Alright, so let's continue. So before we start with the next collection, which is the users one, and we write in the respective rules, there is something that we can improve on this one. We can fine tune this rule in order to better optimize. So if you remember that while building the application, we used the nano ID package in order to generate the shortcode which we are using for the links. And we are using the same shortcode as the document ID within this collection, which is being used by all the users who are trying to visit the shortcode. So the thing is, while using that function, we passed in 6 number as an argument, which tells the nano ID package to generate a shortcode which is of 6 characters. So we can add in the same check right over here that we only want to allow the user to get the document if the link, or to say the shortcode that the user is trying to get the document of, if that shortcode is of 6 characters. If it's more or less than that, we know it upfront that the document won't exist, so it doesn't even make any sense to allow the user to look up for that document. Like, even if they try to visit a shortcode, or to say a shortened link where the shortcode is more than 6 characters, obviously there won't be any document within the collection of this document ID. So it will still throw the message of link is invalid, which is fine. But actually there are two reasons behind adding this condition. The first reason is that it will allow us to save up, to avoid wasteful bandwidth usage. So if we just look up the official docs and we say something like limits, well actually limits, what was it, security rules denied request, something like that. I should have opened it beforehand. Yep, there it is. Over here it says that the requests denied by your cloud Firestore security rules, they do not count towards the network bandwidth usage, which means that you will save up, like you can avoid redundant or the things that you already know which won't work. You can just deny those things upfront. And that being the first reason, the second one is that it will allow me to introduce functions, kind of like a stepping stone towards functions, which we will be using intensively while writing rules for this collection. So think of it as a stepping stone. So now, as I said earlier, that when you use a wildcard, then that thing is resolved in a string. So just like JavaScript, as we are writing this thing, like the language that the docs refer this or to say this language in which we are writing the security rules, this is referred as common expression language, and it has its own syntax as you already know, and it also has its own data types. So if we just look up for security rules data types as such, we will find this page over here. It says that all the different data types that there are, and all the respective methods which are associated with these data types. So as I said, that this wildcard is resolved in a string. If we just look up the string data type, we will find all the available methods that there are. Just like in JavaScript, that when we have a string, something like this, there are different methods on it. We can use the to uppercase to change the text transform kind of things. In the same way, we have the length one, which tells us the total number of characters. Just like this, we have the size method on string within the security rules. So this method, when called, it gives the total number of characters in the string. So we will be using this thing in order to add in the condition. So right over here, let's add in colon, and we only want to allow if the link, we can refer it as such, calling the size method on it, which will result in the total number of characters. If this thing is equals to, by adding in double equal to 6 as such. We only want to allow the get request if the link, or to say the shortcode, I think referring it as shortcode will make more sense. If the shortcode, if the size of it is of 6 characters, that's when we only want to allow this request. So if we do that, and we can actually test it out using the simulator. So right now, as there are 6 characters, this thing should work. However, if it is less than or more than 6, this won't work. As you can see, there are 5, and the same thing if there are more than 6. So that's how we can kind of avoid the redundant network bandwidth usage. So yeah, that's how we kind of write in the rules, and we will be doing similar things while writing the rules for the users collection. So let's do that as well.